sound. Devo Jones with the pick six, Keanu Neal with the hard hit, getting the ball back on offense. Watch Julio Jones keep moving the sticks. Calvin really in for the score. We came back, we up 4, about to get in. Our victory stats, no coming back. We closing the door. A-T-L, blackout. A-T-L, blackout.
What's going on, football fans? It's me, J.R. Clark, back once again with another rendition of the Pound for Pound. This time I'm going to be starting a new series in light of Dan Quinn being fired a week or so ago now. So I'm going to be diving into some coaches that you may not have heard of and potential coaches that could be head coaches for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb here and say that I'm mainly going to focus on offensive coordinators or offensive-minded coaches, because the last two coaches we've had have been defensive-minded in Mike Smith and Dan Quinn, obviously. So I'm going to focus mainly on the offensive side of the ball, because I think that's a real possibility of where Arthur Blank and Rich McKay may go next, right? Anyway, and I'm not going to be talking about your obvious candidates like your Eric Bieniemy, Josh McDaniels, on the defensive side, Robert Slay. Those are guys that I'm going to try to stay away from, because I feel like those are the hot names. Those are the names that everybody knows about, and therefore those are the people that you most are familiar with. So the guys that I'm going to be trying to be bringing light to are guys that you might not be familiar with, whether it be from the college ranks or whether it be from the pro ranks. Now, me personally, I think we're going to stick with the pro ranks, because the history of the college guys working out tends not to be very high. So I'm going to stick mainly with the pro ranks, but as it is, I'm going to try to put one of these out every week until the end of the season. So I'm going to have to dip into the college ranks, obviously, because I just don't think there's enough pro candidates out there who are truly candidates. But anyway, without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump on into it. Now, this guy came recommended from one of our followers on Twitter. I believe it was your homie Brian, if I'm not mistaken. And up to that point, I hadn't really heard much about this guy myself. But like I told him, I would look into it. And once I realized who he was, I got even more interested. The guy that I'm bringing to you today is Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator of the Tennessee Titans. Now, he's only been the offensive coordinator this is going on his second season. He took over for Matt LaFleur when Matt LaFleur left to go to Green Bay. So, he's only had 2 seasons at the helm, but he has been with the Tennessee Titans since 2011. He's been a coach since 2007. He coached for a couple years. Well, not coach. Okay, he was part of the Washington Redskins organization as a defensive quality assistant. Those type of titles are where coaches start at quite a lot. As of right now, he's only 38 years old, so he's a rather young coach, which is kind of trendy right this moment. That to me can be interesting, because you are going to have to connect with younger and younger guys, obviously, the ones that are coming in out of college. So it will be interesting to see a gentleman who is on the younger side. Maybe we can get some creativity that I've been begging for since one Kyle Shanahan left, but we'll see. So after taking over the job from Matt LaFleur, he inherited Marcus Mariota up there in Tennessee, and it didn't go so well for him, right? After week 7, they finally benched Mariota in 2019, and they brought in Ryan Tannehill. Now, if you were like me, most of you didn't think much about it until, holy crap, the Titans were in the playoffs, right? And they beat New England, and then they beat Baltimore, and ultimately lost to the Chiefs, but they were having some success that was kind of crazy. So once I realized who Arthur Smith was, I was like, okay, well, let me go, take an actual look at this guy and look at what this offensive production has been. And after taking over in week 7, Ryan Tannehill set a franchise record for passer rating that only Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, and Nick Foles have ever posted better marks. and that was a 117.5. That's from Ryan Tannehill, the much meager, much maligned Ryan Tannehill. Um, he is one of three qualifying passers in the NFL to complete at least 70% of his passes and averaging at least 9 yards per attempt in a single season. That's crazy. Okay, that's an offensive efficiency that I'm not sure any of us would have ever expected out of Ryan Tannehill. Now, Tannehill ranked third in completion rate, 75.6, and first in passer rating, 143.6 on play action passes that season. That's something I want to hone in on, okay? The reason why I want to hone in on it because when I watched the Tennessee Titans play, I went back on game film and watched some of their games because I thought to myself, okay, well, it's because of Derrick Henry, right? They finally unleashed Derrick Henry, and he's been able to just take the league by storm and run people over and all this other stuff. And as I was watching him, I was fully expecting to see run heavy offense, smash mouth, and yeah, that was there. But man, it was complemented heavily by the play action pass, which is something that we as Falcons fans have begged for, especially since Cutter's been back. Is let's incorporate more play action pass, let's incorporate more movement, let's incorporate more shifts and stuff like that, and get some mismatches going. And Arthur Smith has been able to do that with the Tennessee Titans and with Ryan Tannehill at the helm. A lot of people will think, oh well, the play action pass works so well because they have Derrick Henry. Look, they have proven time and time again that there is no link between being actually being able to run the ball successful and being able to play action pass successful. It just does. Look, as long as you're running the ball at all, the defense has to respect the run, and let's go ahead and admit that's an easier thing for linebackers to do. Come up in the hole and stop the run. That makes a lot more sense. You're going forward instead of trying to cover people. So with that being said, play action pass is useful whether your run game is going good or not. Sorry about that. But under the tutelage of Arthur Smith, they have carved out a extremely efficient offense. And an efficient offense that has pretty much taken on everybody to the point where Ryan Tannehill joined Aaron Rodgers as the only player to complete 75% of their passes with a rating of 130 in 3 straight games in NFL history. That's it. The only other person to do that is Aaron Rodgers. Now you're saying, JR, why are you hitting me with all these numbers? I'm hitting you with all these numbers because these coaches get hired with what they're successful at. And what Arthur Smith has shown that he is successful at is orchestrating an offense built around the talent that he has. Why do I think that's important? Because honestly, unless you find a trade partner for him, Matt Ryan's not going anywhere. Okay? So you have 2 to 3 more years of Matt Ryan before you can easily get out from under his contract. So that means whoever comes in is going to have to adapt their style to the players that we have on the books right now, and then be able to adapt to whoever they bring in next. Because I honestly think that whoever you're coming in, Arthur Blank has shown that he's not just going to get rid of coaches willy-nilly. So I'm figuring whoever's coming in is going to have at least 5 years, right? So you're looking at potentially transitioning from a Matt Ryan to a different quarterback. So I need a coach who's going to be able to come in and work with what we have, but also be able to adjust to whatever we get. And Arthur Smith has shown the ability to adjust his offense to the players that he has, to make a game plan that features a guy like Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown, while using the talents that his quarterback has. And Ryan Tannehill is shown an ability to do real well with movement and style throws and play action passes and stuff like that. And I believe that's the type of quarterback that you're going to get coming in here next. Is going to be, because that's what's in college right now, right? That's what's coming out of college. Very rarely are you having a pocket passer type quarterback. You're having more of a move quarterback, one of the quarterback who's throwing more on the run. And things like rolling the pocket and making shifts, all that stuff helps that type of a quarterback, okay? So that's the type of coach that I want, especially if we're going with an offensive minded head coach. You pair a young offensive minded head coach with a guy like a Wade Phillips, all of what they did out there in LA, and I think that you could have some instant success, especially with the veteran core that we have. So I think if you were to pair Arthur Smith with a guy like Wade Phillips or even a guy like Rex Ryan, somebody who can be as equally creative on the defensive side, I believe it can end up being an interesting pairing. So by all means, do yourself a favor, take a look at Arthur Smith. Go watch a couple Tennessee games, whether you have Game Pass or whether you can just find it on YouTube. And I think that you will be as intrigued as I am. Somebody who has made Tannehill from an average to below average quarterback to being talks about being in the elite speaks volumes to me. So he's my selection for week 1 of this series. Like I said, I encourage you to go check it out. As always, Falcons fans, y'all can follow me on Twitter. I'm Grim1128, GRIMM1128. You can catch us live every Tuesday at 7:30. Me, Jimmy, and Mike. We go live talking about the games, talking about just the team in general. You can check out Mike and Jimmy every Saturday, giving you their thoughts on the upcoming game. And yeah, man, we as always, we really appreciate y'all. And just keep your eye here as I go through more coaches. Next week, I'm going to try to pull up a coach from the college ranks. So I'm going to go from pros to college kind of thing is what I'm looking to do anyway. And if you have any suggestions, put them in the comments down below. If there's somebody you want me to take a look at, drop their names down in the comments below. I'll do my research on them and give you my opinion. But we got a long season, and hopefully we'll have some interesting candidates to talk about. Anyway, peace.